Continuing here. Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that really things are so evil that there are plenty of people now. And I'm looking at California's microcosm, but will spread like cancer nationally. Okay, I hear Alex Jones very critical of California, but does he understand about a critical mass being a tiny percentage that's steered, the ship, the rudder of California is not being steered by the majority of people even. Okay, do you understand? So when you criticize the direction that we're taking, okay, just understand the political sycophants, okay, and their money masters that are involved in this thing. And why these politicians that are steering the ship, okay, they're a part of the conduit, the connections here, the shaft and the gears to the rudder. Okay, they're communists, they're fascists. I mean, why? Who turned them into this? They act like they're all noble, like they're the people's governor, Governor Brown. The Democrats are the people. But poverty just increases under these people. Homelessness has just increased. It's only since Trump's been in office I see them actually doing some things and trying to fund some programs and having more of a discussion. Because this is why I voted for Trump, because he's against homelessness. He said he was ashamed of it. I'm ashamed of it. The land of milk and honey, America, my beloved nation, okay, and we're tolerating this crap, and then we're blaming it on capitalism, besmirching, defaming, slandering the name of true capitalism? Oh, no. So we need to get this stuff, man. Alex Jones, man, sometimes I wonder about you, man. Don't you understand? I've practically idolized you. I look up to you as a role model. Even though you're a younger man, you're far and more intelligent. You're more learned with the history and stuff. But man, you got to put your Christian faith first, and the beliefs Jesus told you to have aside from your political beliefs about stuff, because that's what it is. Essentially, you're condemning all Californians, or it sounds like that. And you're not acknowledging it's a tiny percentage of people that are steering our ship. And that's the same, that holds true federally and internationally, that it's evil people that are causing the problems, and they want the problems to stay intact. They want to increase the problems, and therefore that increases their relevance. Okay? That they say, oh, well, you need us to help solve problems. We need to kick in money. Money's always the solution, always the answer to the problems is just debase your currency. We got to raise somebody's cost of living tax. And we always pick the low-hanging fruit. We got to make the poor pay the most. That's who it always hurts inevitably the most when you debase the currency. It's those that don't get a cost of living adjustment. What do you care if you're getting a cost of living adjustment? What do you care if others are oppressed, unless you value your conscience and you stick up for them and say they're the underdog? And I care because that's the person I choose to be. Be who you want to be. And when you really are who you want to be, you'll find out that you really like that person and you wouldn't want to be anybody else. You're sticking up for the underdog, the downtrodden. Those that are being cheated and bilked, duped and deceived and taken. Their wealth is being stolen from under their nose. What did the workers do to have their wealth stolen like this? The labor class, the working poor, the blue-collar workers, what did they do? These are the biggest producers and contributors to the wealth of the nation. Read Adam Smith's book, The Wealth of Nations. Understand this is the most valuable, greatest asset, resource we could ever have is a willing workforce. And damn it, we've had it, so we can't blame them. Okay, we can't blame them for needing a commensurate cost of living adjustment. And then it's a two-way street. Wages could go down if your cost of living keeps going down. Yes, we've got to just fix the problems that these people have created and at least expose them and confront it and trace the mechanism back to the rudder and trace all these people, whoever's in your face, your master. Why did they change it? It wasn't PC. Oh, now we say employer, employee. We make up some words. Employ. And that sounds good. That sounds PC, so let's use that. No, we should still use master and servant. So we have the paradigm right. That's the way it works. We all have masters and we all have servants. Okay? We've got puppeteers above us that are pulling our strings. Some masters are nice. They're great. They're wonderful. And everybody just gives them accolades and has nothing but nice things to say about them. And others are flat out a-holes. Everybody's praising Amazon for what they did. But believe me, all the people that are these Amazon employees, their landlords are going to say, aha, hey, more money, I can raise their rent. They're going to just take it from that easy. That's how it works, man. It's in their interest. They cannot let you get out from under their thumb. You understand? It is not in the interest of the landlord industry, right? The what do they call it? The property management industry. It's not in the interest of the investor, housing investor, real estate investor industry, the speculator industry, the flipper industry. Okay, it's not in their interest. Okay, even the lending industry, even the real estate sales industry, it's not in any of their interest, okay, to have housing prices go down, okay, to have people make enough money to where they can wriggle out from under their thumb and be homeowners and enter middle class home ownership. Okay, then they get insecure. If they've got to lower their rent, if they start seeing more and more vacancies, housing vacancies, then they have to actually resort to true capitalism and compete. Okay, and it's a risk if you invest in housing real estate, and it's a risk that you might lose, okay, because people are going to pay less and less, so you're depending on them to pay your mortgage, and you're going to have to, be able to, you're going to have to subsidize more and more of that mortgage yourself, and your tenants aren't going to be able to just buy you house after house after house. The way it is now, like Rich Dad, I know what these people, if I wanted to be a multi-billionaire easily, I could do it in California. Easily. I could be that by now. I could be a billionaire just by being an aggressive investor, going out there and just teaming up with the Federal Reserve and just being greedy and don't listen to any goody two-shoes, buying house after house and renting and just being a big proponent of getting the highest rents on the market and just duping my workers, find undocumented workers to do my work for me. And every time a lawsuit comes up, I pay pennies on the dollar. So you understand, because I got an attorney. So you understand, I could do it. I'm a smart enough guy to where if that was all I wanted to focus on, I could easily be a real estate mogul, okay, worth billions. Believe me, I'm smart enough to do that. But that would mean sacrificing my conscience, my soul, in my mind. And I can't have anything to do with it. Thank God I don't. I value my soul above that. I don't want to cause more burden for people. I don't want to be a cog in the wheel of this oppression. This is horrible what's going on. And I'm telling you, there's people, if it meant that people stopped dying out in the cold, okay, because they were desperately poor, there was no more social welfare money through the $50 billion a year spent on Section 8, and all these people stopped saying, I'm not going to commit a crime to have housing for 3 hots and a cot. No, I'm going to, I'm just going to stay out here and die out in the cold, so... there's a lot of people that realize, hey, look, we depend on people living in acute fear, okay, of homelessness. Okay, that's how we extract these exorbitant rents and mortgages. So we absolutely depend people living in mortal fear of homelessness. We know that, so we must maintain homelessness. Preferably, we must grow homelessness to increase the fear, to turn it up, because we keep trying to get more and more rent. We keep trying to extract more and more from them, put more and more burden on them, make their lives more and more onerous to pay that bill, to crack that nut. Do you understand? So why would they want to get rid of homelessness when that's going to have the opposite effect? People get cocky, they get secure, they say, well, you know what, I need a rent reduction. They say, well, there's all these vacancies, so, they ask their landlord, they say, you know what, there's a lot of, housing on the market, and you understand? Okay, and this whole immigration thing, you understand what that's about? They need to put an artificial demand on things. Everything's about optics. So what people view, what they perceive, well, we understand why housing prices keep going up. It's supply and demand. And, well, that's because of the immigrants. But what are you, against immigrants? You don't want everybody in the world to come to America? What are you, big fat meanie? America's land of immigrants. It was built by immigrants. All this crapola they come up with while they walk past and turn their nose up on the homeless that are dying out on the street and blaming them for their own problem. Oh, they made their bed, let them lie. They're drug addicts, they're alcoholics, they're lazy. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. They're just immoral maybe. But it's their problem. Don't worry about it. They'll die out through attrition. So they'll, walk past these people, but call you evil if you, don't think everybody in the world ought to be able to just automatically immigrate here legally or otherwise, okay? That we have an obligation to, that's because America's a land of immigrants, and that's just the way it's got to be. Do you understand how just maddening these people are? This nonsensical insane paradigm that's been crammed down our throats, we've all been trained with. Is it any wonder we're all effed up? How can we not be effed up, man? Okay, you understand it's evil. It's bad. It really is that bad. And it's all coming to fruition. All these things I've been talking about and trying to reveal about how evil it is are all unfolding. We need God's help. I feel like not even voting in this upcoming election. I mean it. Just because I am so beside myself with the evil in the land. I just feel like praying to God. Just say, God, take over, man. I'll get prostrate in front of you. Prostrate. It's the rate that lay on your face is a prostrate. Prostate is the gland. God, I will do that, but I can't vote. It's too stressful. It's not working. All these people are liars and deceivers. These politicals, they say they're people, they're going to represent the people, but they all are just stab you in the back. They're betrayers. They're sycophants to the money masters. They know which side their bread is buttered on. As long as they get cost of living adjustments, I know that they don't care what they do to the masses. They'll pass it on. They'll increase their cost of living tax to the poor. They'll keep on finding a way to keep this misery going. I mean, we need God's help. There's no other way around it. If we're going to ever fix this problem, address it, confront it, whatever, extricate ourselves, we've got to admit it. We've got to admit we need God's help. Okay, it is God only that's going to do this, man, because we're screwed up. We are in deep, man. We are in really, really deep. Deep down, this rabbit hole, this demonic rabbit hole from hell. Okay, and we're in a lot of trouble as a species. We are in a lot of trouble because we have allowed these money masters of utter misery take over. Okay, and this is what we've got now. This is what we've got, a real problem with people believing the only answer is just to keep going down this road, just losing freedom more and more and more. And through the finances, through the cost of living increase, through the debasement of the currency. Remember, by putting burden on those that can least afford it, making it their problem. You understand how this thing works, how evil it is? It's horrible, man. We're in a lot of trouble. And that's what I'm trying to convey to people, to get serious, man, get sober-minded and get off the pot and do something. Educate people. Don't let people prescribe to that path of least resistance and ignorance is bliss philosophy anymore. Explain to them that their salvation is involved. They can't prescribe to that and then be somebody in the sight of God. Who are you? Who are you? If you don't care about your fellow human being, you value money and just staying well healed yourself more than human beings, who are you? What are you about, man? So, it's so important that we get through to people in as effective a way as we can and convince them to believe the right way. And there is a right way to believe and a wrong way to believe. I'm going to get into some current events from this past week. Understanding a basic income as one method, one way to skin the cat, is understanding cash flow. Okay, in your local community, if suddenly poor people that couldn't afford to even get their car fixed, they had to take the bus, were able to go to a mechanic, and then they're going to support the factories that have to buy the parts to fix their car. So it's not just the shop that's going to benefit. But you understand how that would benefit through the flow of money, the velocity of the currency, and people's sense of security, knowing it's going to come back sooner. And you understand how the mechanic could lower his pay. You understand how the parts producers, because they're selling more of it, they're very secure, so they feel, hey, you know what, I'm going to pass that along. That's what conscience does for people. So it'd be a chain reaction in reverse. Instead of currency debasement, your currency starts increasing in worth steadily as your cost of living tax went down. That's what a basic income would do. They're deathly afraid of people understanding these basic truths, that there really is a lot of solutions. There would have been a lot of ways to prevent these problems in the first place, but they sure as hell didn't want that. That's why they couldn't steal the wealth of the people of the nation if they prevented the problems, right? They needed to create problems and chaos and distort reality and to make us pliable and malleable, confused, off balance, disempowered, ignorant, okay, in order to carry this thing out. Okay, it's simple, man. A lot of people know what I'm saying, but they still are in denial because they perceive their own self-interests are at stake. If they believe the way I know is true, then, then I'm right and they're wrong. Not because I give a crap about that, But you see, it throws their whole fantasy off, their rationale for why they believe the way they do, their reasoning, their faulty reasoning, their ill logic, sick logic for why they believe falsely. They're deluded. Why they choose to be deluded, why they choose to be self-deceived, is because it profits them. Money. It has to do with temporal benefit. You understand? It does not have to do with caring about people. Okay? Otherwise, they'd believe the way I'm telling you to believe. Okay? We all have a right, God-given right, to share in the wealth, the goodies of this planet. End of story.